Can I speak very briefly about the Model Y refresh?
Yes, please.
Everyone's very excited, similarly to the Model 3 refresh that we just got. A lot of new changes, a lot of both interior and exterior changes. So my own timeline has been pretty much that we wouldn't see this until the very end of this year, very much going into next year. But there was distinctly in January, there were a lot of articles written, a lot of opinions that were saying that we were potentially going to be expecting to see something happening around March. So much the fact that Tesla, which I've never seen this before, had actually sent out an email to practically all of their delivery advisors saying if customers ask for about this new rework, we're not doing it yet. We don't have any timeline for this. May try to basically reiterate the fact that right now is a great time to buy a Model Y and to take advantage of all the discounts right now. And I just wanted to comment that I saw a couple of comments where that were like, well, this we don't. I don't know if I can believe Tesla. I don't. I don't. They could just be saying that so that they can push for more sales right now. And I just wanted. I have kind of commented that myself in replies, but I wanted to reiterate that what I've said with it being much later this year, this has been the narrative that I've heard for almost 6 months now. And so, yes, Tesla does have their own PR department. They do have their own marketing department. But if something typically matches what employees are saying and the people who are actually working on the cars, it typically is true. I think for anyone who is listening on YouTube Live or on X, if you were debating whether to wait for a Model Y for the rework, just if you need a car, get one now. This is a great time to get one, especially to save some money. The rework is coming, but it isn't going to happen anytime soon. Now, if you are anticipating or if you're waiting for the Model 3 performance and you really need that performance, that edition, then that's a little bit more worth waiting. We've been anticipating for that to show up in the next month or two. With a couple more prototypes showing up every few days. But for the Model Y, it's a great vehicle. As Omar said multiple times, it is one of the best-selling vehicles, and it will continue to be so. It's a great time to get one if you were looking to or wanting to wait.
So you think there will be a Model Y refresh, but not this year, maybe early next year, which I believe is what Omar said and Sawyer said yesterday too, that probably early next year is going to come to US. Maybe start in China again later this year.
Yeah, that pretty much matches what I've been thinking. Um, Tesla's been having a little bit of trouble recently with some of their part supplies. That isn't distinctly that it relates directly to the Model Y refresh, but they've just refreshed their production lines for the Model 3. It's a lot of effort and a lot of time to do that you don't necessarily want to affect both of your production lines at the exact same time. And so I think giving a little bit of time to see how the Model 3 refresh works out, which so far has been amazing. We've seen lots and lots and lots of people making orders who were anticipating it. And even if you were waiting for the performance variant, make a test drive, try it out, use someone's referral code if you can. It is an amazing car, and it only shows what to look forward to, whether you get the long range or the performance.
You know what I'm really surprised about right now is the fact that Tesla is offering overnight test drives and millions of people aren't taking advantage of it. I think people just don't know. But I mean, I'm going to do it. Like you can literally grab the car for like 24 hours, run your errands, go to work for a day in a Tesla, see how it fits your life. What an amazing offer by Tesla.
I think there's for the same reason why they made the Y. There are definitely individuals who the Y is designed but more for them than the Model 3. I think definitely prioritizing, which is what they are right now, the Model 3 is important. But there will come that time where anyone who does buy the Model Y will want that. I mean, that's why it outsells the Model 3 in almost every market. So I know you did your thumbs down, but both cars are very important. I drive a Model 3 and I love it. I have the Model 3 Performance. I've never really had it in my own interest personally for the Model Y. It's a little bit too big for me. But yeah, I think both vehicles play an important role, and I think giving Tesla some time to be able to kind of study and see how the new Model 3 rollout occurs across all regions now is very important.
Which one will sell more, Model Y or the Cybertruck in the next 5, 10 years?
Globally, the Model Y. In the US, I could see the Cybertruck being number one.
Wow. So then you must expect Cybertruck pricing to decline quite a bit because there's no way, even at 80,000, it's not going to outsell a $35,000-$40,000 Model Y, right?
You know, if they can hit, let's say, $50,000. So right now they've said 60,000, which would be about 53K with the point of sale credit. If they could hit, 50K and get down to like 43, then you really have something that's right in there with premium full size truck pricing. So it wouldn't really be out of reach for anyone. It would just be a choice of whether you want electric or gas. And I think a lot of people would pick electric.
That's really interesting that you said that. Before we get to Teslascope, I'm going to unveil the poll results. 77% of people in YouTube Live said Model Y will outsell the Cybertruck. 23% said the Cybertruck will outsell. So Omar put a spin on it and said, globally, Model Y, but maybe in the US, and if they bring the price down to originally promised levels, let's say below 50, then maybe the Cybertruck will outsell. And I agree. I agree with that take.
I'd also agree with Omar. When I bought this Model 3 Performance, I paid after taxes and everything. I paid about $86,000 for it. I could have afforded pretty much a lot of the baseline, at least the time the baseline Model S or X. I could have gotten basically any vehicle I wanted, but I still chose this. And just a couple of years later, the vehicle pretty much went down to 56,000. So it dropped down a lot, and I expect the exact same thing to happen with the Cybertruck. Now, I got a lot of benefits. I'm one of the very few Model 3s that have full self-driving on it, or sorry, full free supercharging for life. I got full self-driving for about $3,000 at the time. So there's a lot of benefits that I got to take advantage of for paying a little bit more. But I expect the Cybertruck to kind of fall in the same line where, while it's very expensive now, it probably is going to dip down to the $50,000-$60,000 range, if not within a year, but probably a couple years from now. Tesla's doing very well with their orders for both the Cyber Beast as well as just the long range in general. I don't expect the price to drop down immediately, but it will. It will with time, and I think that will be a very instrumental time for sales. More and more, we're seeing more and more just vehicle owners and celebrities taking advantage and buying the Cybertruck and taking delivery of it. And the more we see them on the road, the more we see, anyone who looks up at celebrities or people you look up to taking delivery of these vehicles. It definitely helped with sales and with orders across the board.
So I went and looked up the average selling price of a pickup truck in the US. The latest data I could find was from September 2023, in which the ASP was $60,000, a nearly 6% surge year over year. So 6% year over year growth to $60,000. Now, Tesla says that by 2025, so we're talking like 1 year from now, they're going to unveil a Cybertruck that sells for $60,000, which is about the average selling price of a truck. Assuming it qualifies for the point of sale credit, which it should with US made batteries, that brings it down to 53. Then when you factor in fuel and maintenance savings, that's also going to save you a lot depending on how much you drive too. So we're going to go from very quickly today where Cybertruck is this extremely hot car being driven by celebrities, super exclusive, hard to get your hands on one, even if you have $100,000, to within 12 to 18 months, anyone being able to get one for no more than the average price of a pickup truck today. So I don't think anyone's really seeing this coming. They're saying, okay, it's kind of a niche thing. It's 100K. That's not the plan. The plan's not for it to always be at 100K. As they ramp up production, this thing is going to be a really good deal. So even if you think it looks ridiculous, you almost have to consider it because it just makes too much sense, especially if you run a fleet of these things.
It has the same effect as a lot of other Teslas, where it's not a matter of not wanting a vehicle. If you can convince someone to test drive, especially if they've never owned a Tesla vehicle, they're going to fall in love. It no longer becomes a, do I want this? It becomes a, can I afford this? So once the cost goes down, I think we're going to see a huge, huge, huge influx of orders.
Almost off grid garage says why? Because it's cheaper. Well, it's both things, right? The price, but also the value. Like the Model Y doesn't have air suspensions. It doesn't have stainless steel body. Cybertruck will obviously is going to have better safety ratings than any vehicle ever produced in mass. Doesn't have the bigger screen of the Cybertruck. Doesn't have the storage space of the Cybertruck. Doesn't look as badass as the Cybertruck.
There was finally a video of someone actually taking a steel ball and throwing it at their Cybertruck's windows, and it didn't leave a crack or a dent. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know how the part allocation is right now to replace it, but
Yeah,
it went perfectly fine.
yeah. It's not bulletproof. Model Y is not bulletproof as the Cybertruck. It doesn't have real wheel steering like the Cybertruck. It doesn't have steer by wire like the Cybertruck. So it's not just about the price. The price is important, but it's not just about that. And we're already seeing in different parts of the world how popular Cybertruck already is. The pictures and the videos are really incredible. I'm really excited for it.